Hey everyone, I just finished Odd Taxi and a lot of people have already made videos on how good this series is, so I decided to make something different than a video essay on it. There's a lot of great characters in this series, so let's see who makes my top 10 and what makes them so great. Stay tuned to the end of the video to see if I can keep up this amount of energy and if my voice will die by the end of recording because I'm still sick. This is Wheeze, and welcome to KBW, where we don't do any of this in no particular order crap. This is a top 10, with 1 being the best and 10 being the worst. Like the video please if you want more top 10 lists. Let's go. First, honorable mention, Mitsuya, because she is cute. Did I mention that there will be some references to the show that would kind of ruin it if you haven't watched it already? Well, there will be. Holy crap, this is actually for Sakura, Mitsuya's replacement. She would not be on this list except for that ending. Dang! Gave me chills. She is crazy and I was not expecting that. Literally the only reason she beat out Nikaido to be an honorable mention was because of that end scene. Now onto the actual top 10. Number 10, Tanaka. He got his own episode, and that was my least favorite of the series. Although his character was a vital part of the story, his backstory was just a crazy person getting crazier. After his backstory, I never really liked him or found him sympathetic, like, ever, but he was still super entertaining, turning into Skullboy and creating a ton of havoc all over town. The complex nature of people assuming it was Dobu and having his gun made him an incredible plot point, even if he wasn't my favorite character. Still number 10 though, his music track was fantastic and put me on edge every time he came on screen, so that helps. Number 9, Yamamoto. This dude was interesting. The beginning of the story, he had some mystery, and you could tell he was a little more than just a manager for an idol group. Despite that, he was willing to risk himself for the success of Mystery Kiss, and that was really great. He actually had passion for his job. He just got roped into some shady business, but actually cares for Mystery Kiss's success more than anything. Number 8. Little Diamond. Similar to how Yamamoto looked one-dimensional, Little Diamond originally just seemed like the bumbling cop sidekick for comedic relief. But instead of Barney Fife, we got a legitimate serious character, loyal to his brother, but even more loyal to the law he upholds. I'm so glad they used him as more than just a punching bag or a joke, and showed that even though he was pretty clueless, holding to your morals and the truth leaves you a lot better off than people like his brother, who ends up in a horrible position after giving into bribes and hiding behind lies. It was super satisfying to see him victorious by the end, although he still cared deeply for his brother, and it was saddening to Little Diamond to see him go down this path. A really unexpectedly good character. Number 7, Yano. Oh my goodness, I love Yano. Villains either need really good motivations or a really unique trait to be good. Yano has the unique trait stat maxed out. Yano and Dobu had a cool thing going on, being competitors, but not necessarily enemies, though they viewed each other like they were. We only heard about Yano for a while, so there was a lot of anticipation for when we finally get to meet him. Then we see this young punk who raps everything he says. His vibe, style, and ability to rhyme everything he says while still giving out orders and talking to people about plans was amazing. He never stops doing this until the very end, which was my least favorite part of his character, where he just kind of becomes a generic chasing after the good guy out of desperation villain. Up to that point, his style and wit were just amazing. He was a big gatekeeper for getting higher on this list. Each one I chose was like, do I like them better than Yano? Number 6, Imai. Okay, this is my most personal choice on the list. I can tell this guy isn't anyone's favorite character, and probably a lot less liked than Yano and Tanaka, but I legitimately like him more than everyone beneath him on this list, and really enjoyed him on screen and the part he played in the story. It was nice to have someone that wasn't involved with all the crimes or the crazy shootings, and ended up just being a super nice guy. He was obsessed with Mystery Kiss, and won a lottery after Odokawa gave him a bunch of random numbers. Instead of being crazed over the money and trying to stalk Mystery Kiss or something, he just wants to spend it on their albums and most expensive backstage passes like a normal fan. He also appreciates the taxi driver that gave him the numbers and wants to help him out now that he won. This guy is awesome and would just be really fun to be around. He feels like a cool person. My only complaint is that he's a bit too obsessed with Mystery Kiss. When he finds out he is in life-threatening trouble, he just keeps thinking about his favorite band, and it felt a little unnatural. Like it was a writing choice that this guy being obsessed with the band is his main characteristic. It took me out of the story a little bit, but otherwise, loved this guy. Nice to have a normal and pleasant person in the story to contrast with the rest. If everyone is crazy, then no one is. Number 5, Goriki. Now on to my top 5. We have some of the best characters in the series with the most development or who do the most things. Goriki is in that second category as someone who acts as a truly good friend to Odokawa. Goriki investigates our main character's backstory and leaves hints for his mysterious illness that leads to the final fantastic reveal. Goriki is a great friend to Odokawa and truly cares about his patients. He is a cool character and very likable because he is so passionate about helping his friend. He's great, but not a lot to talk about. Number 4, Kakihana. We're getting into the really great characters now. But honestly, Kakihana is so sad and likable. A 40-something bachelor with no hope in life for what he wants the most, a wife. After lying about how much money he makes online, a beautiful 18-year-old messages him on a dating app, and he quickly falls hopelessly in love. He has the best interactions with Odokawa. Our main character, being in a similar situation, perceives his hope as a false one and is correct. He sees the girl and calls her a kid. It's a weird situation and it doesn't seem right. Despite seeing all this, Kakihana decides to get in debt to impress the girl, buying a ring and hoping to marry her. Though he lied to her, she had an even worse secret and manipulated him to extort money for Yano's group. Even though she didn't want to, she still had no interest in the fake man with no future. It's a sad story with really no redemption for him or her, except that Odokawa saves Kakihana from his captors. Kakihana seems to realize how stupid he was and gets a new job to pay off his debts. Still no wife or really any future, but maybe some contentment that his life is not much worse. Number 3, Shirakawa. Sheep Lady is a great character. In a similar situation to Kakihana's relationship, Shirakawa gets close to Odokawa because of her involvement with criminals. However, her infatuation with Odokawa becomes real over the course of the time she spends with him. But Odokawa, being wise, will have nothing to do with her. Oh my goodness, I want her and Odokawa together so badly. She has a sad story of being manipulated by Dobu, who was her controlling boyfriend, until it got too much and she wanted out. Despite this bad situation, Odokawa still places the responsibility on her. She was manipulated, but she could have gotten out of it earlier. She stole drugs from the doctor and lied to Odokawa about her original intentions. But she proved her words with her actions, changed her ways, and became a great person, even risking herself to save Odokawa multiple times. Like most of the characters on this show, she was written with a great personality that felt real. Overall, she was fantastic. No complaints for Shirakawa. Even thinking about her situation and how strong of a person she is gives me chills. I really like her. Number 2, Dobu. These last two are pretty obvious. Dobu got the second most screen time and therefore was the second most developed. Dobu wasn't a regular thug working for a crime boss. He was a bad guy and did bad things, but he knew what he was doing. He didn't act out of emotions or hatred, but did his job and did it well. He took pride in his worth to his boss, but also would beat the crap out of anyone to complete his goal. He specialized in bribery and manipulation, which explained his clear insight into human psychology. He had a good mental state despite the horrible things he does, which is an even more interesting thing about his character. Even Odokawa mentions he doesn't seem to really be that bad of a guy, but in the end, he's doing illegal things and needs to be given justice. Dobu helps out Taichi and teaches him about the problems in finding your identity and fickle things like online status. They were an interesting dynamic, Taichi being very fake and Dobu being too real to himself. I could keep talking, but I better stop now so I can talk about my number 1. Dobu is so great, such a fantastic character, but I cared about no one and didn't have nearly as strong emotional attachment to anyone compared to number 1, Odokawa. Really no surprise here, but let me talk about the best character of Odd Taxi by a lot, and considering all the amazing characters, that is a huge compliment. Odokawa's personality alone carried this story. Even with the fantastic writing and perfectly paced plot, Odokawa's character was the deep connection that glued everything together. This wasn't just some mystery thriller show. It gave us something really special in Odokawa, whose realism and down-to-earth, dull attitude made for character development that was much more subtle and didn't rely on annoying character gets less annoying development that many shows default to. Odokawa was a real person, and seeing him change, even though he didn't have the development of a psycho learning not to get so obsessed with mobile games, or an internet celebrity learning real life is more important, Odokawa had a much more powerful, relatable, and important story for most of us. Someone finding more happiness in the dullness of life. His mystery illness was an extra layer of intrigue, and at some points I wondered if he had a bigger connection connection to the crime boss than anyone knew about. But in the end, even though it was all connected, he was a normal taxi driver, and I really appreciate that story. He isn't a you can accomplish anything you put your mind to, follow your dreams kind of inspiration, but a far more realistic, you can be happy with simple pleasures, and nothing is wrong with an honest, simple job kind of hero. He's good to his friends, he isn't crazy over money or fame. He's a truly great person. His backstory is sad, and his ending seems happy with getting more confidence and being able to face people again. Then the ending came. It's been a while since I've had that kind of reaction to the ending scene of a series. I was at a loss for words. Thanks so much for watching. This was pretty fun to make. I don't usually do top 10 videos, but I like diving deeper into each character than most top 10s usually do, so maybe that can be my thing. If you liked it, please like the video and subscribe and share it around. Leave a comment telling me if you want more of these or less if you prefer different formats such as my regular analytical videos. I just hit 200 subscribers. Thank you all so much for that. It's kinda crazy. I've been growing slowly but steadily, and I appreciate all the support. When I was starting, getting 10 views after a month felt like a lot, and now I have videos with thousands. So thank you all so much. That's all for me. Longer than normal outro, but I had some things to say. Go check out my other videos or something. Enjoy your day. Ja meow.